Hi everybody, I'm Ted Yakuchi. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel and hope everyone is having a wonderful 2025 so far, and I hope this is your best year ever for all of our channel subscribers. So I thought we would start 2025 with some questions and answers for my first video about the JFK assassination case. And of course, the first question that's on everyone's mind is, what are we going to get with the new release of documents that President Trump has ordered? Well, let's go over a little bit of the particulars of the order itself. President Trump ordered that a plan be developed within 15 days of when he signed it for the JFK assassination, a plan for the JFK assassination documents to be released, and then he gave 45 days for the Robert Kennedy documents and the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. documents, a plan for those, in those two cases, for documents to be released. So at least we have some movement with getting some documents that researchers haven't had up to this point. Now, will all the documents really be released as President Trump has indicated? Well, unfortunately, I think we have about as much chance of getting Mexico to build the southern wall and Canada to become a state as we do to get all of the documents. But that's okay, because we could get a golden nugget or two of information and documents released that would maybe give researchers a new thorough way to finding out some information that we didn't know as a community, or at least give us some indication that there's more work that needs to be done. But will tax returns be released? Will Lee Oswald's tax returns be released? Will the FBI give up information that would prove or disapprove, prove or disprove the fact that Lee Oswald was an FBI informant, getting $200 a month with his informant number, as is indicated in a lot of what we think we know so far? No, that's not going to happen. The FBI isn't going to do that. We're not going to get tax returns. We're not going to get information from, say, Ruth and Michael Payne on their relationship with intelligence agencies. But that's okay. Again, all documents that are released are going to be helpful to some extent. Just to go over the actual order from President Trump, the order directs the Director of the National Intelligence and Attorney General to develop a plan within 15 days to declassify the remaining John F. Kennedy records, and within 45 days for the other two cases. And of course, we know that a lot of documents that we really, really wish we had access to almost certainly have been destroyed. We can look as an example, for instance, to Richard Helms, who was the CIA director from 1966 to 1973. When he testified before Congress, he admitted that he had destroyed a lot of the files that were associated with the MK Ultra project that the CIA was illegally running in the United States. If we were really, if the truth were really known, the CIA and FBI certainly have destroyed many of the files that would be most useful to researchers in order to really understand the JFK assassination. But again, that's information that, we can't really worry about at this point. One of the things that I'm going to be looking for with the new documents is going to be the relationship between the CIA and number one, organized crime. We know, of course, that the CIA had contracted the organized crime through Sam Gianconis and Roselli as an intermediate. intermediary in order to set up the assassination of Fidel Castro. So it'll be interesting to look if any of the files associated with that relationship are released. Also, we know an awful lot now that the CIA was using churches and church status in order to hide a lot of the illegal operations that the more militant Cuban paramilitary groups like Alpha 66 that started in Miami and then branched out to Dallas and other cities. We know that there was a lot of the use of fake church titles and fake church status in order to be able to hide what the CIA was doing with these paramilitary groups in separate cities. So I'll be looking to see if there's any documents that might shed a little bit of light on that aspect of the case also.
Another area that I'll be really interested in looking at is Lee Oswald's supposed trip to Mexico City in the months before the assassination. As you probably know, Lee Oswald was accused of visiting and contacting both the Soviet embassy and the Cuban embassy in Mexico City. However, on the day of the assassination, the CIA provided the FBI false pictures and false voice recordings of a supposed Lee Oswald. So was Oswald actually in Mexico City? If so, will there be documents, will there be memos that finally prove once and for all that he in fact did visit our southern neighbor in the months before the assassination? Another area that I'm very interested in will be looking to see if there are any memos or documents that are released that may shed some further light on the CIA's gun running to Cuba, both to Batiste or to Fidel Castro, depending on whose side the CIA was on at a particular time. The reason it's so interesting is that we know Jack Ruby was a part of the gun running operation along with David Ferrie and others. So it really offers kind of an area that could lead to further exploration and to further investigation of just how involved Ruby was in the JFK assassination, and it really would disprove the description of Ruby given by intelligence agencies that he was just someone that really wasn't very smart and just acted on the spur of the moment when he killed Lee Oswald on the Sunday following the assassination. A sixth area that I'll be very interested in looking at will be the fact that there was a frightening number of United States armories that were being burglarized, broken into in the year or a little more than a year before the JFK assassination. These burglaries were being perpetrated by Cuban paramilitary groups with supposed help and assistance by the CIA, or at least CIA sources. The fact that these armories were being burglarized really gives credence to the fact that the CIA and along with their paramilitary, Cuban paramilitary associates really felt that they were above the law, that they did not have to really listen to United States government oversight. They had their mind set up that they were going to be attacking Castro in Cuba, and nothing was going to stop them, let alone United States law. So it would be very, very interesting to see if there are any documents that relate to just how out of control those groups were. As a matter of fact, an informant who very, very possibly was Lee Oswald actually shed light as a whistleblower on the theft of a Texas armory just in the very short period before the JFK assassination.
So I'll be looking at those 6 areas when the new documents and the new memos do get released in the JFK assassination. Number 1, the CIA relationship with organized crime. I think that goes just a very far way into showing how out of control the CIA was, contracting actually with a criminal organization to assassinate a foreign president. Number 2, the fake churches and the fake priests, the fake reverends that were being allowed and set up by CIA associates with Cuban paramilitary groups in order to hide illegal activities by those paramilitary groups. Number 3, Lee Oswald's supposed trip to Mexico City. Did he in fact go? Did he really contact the Soviet embassy and the Cuban embassy? Number 4, the CIA's gun running to both Batista and Fidel Castro in Cuba. And I think that's very, very important because of the relationship of Jack Ruby being involved. Number 5 would be the theft of the armories in Texas and other states in order to facilitate arming the Cuban paramilitary groups. And finally, I'll be looking to see Oswald's ties to being a possible informant to the FBI, not only for the armory thefts, but also for the Chicago plot that took place on November 2nd, just 3 weeks before the assassination in Dallas. So there is a lot of information that we'll be looking to see. Again, it's not going to be just spelled out for us. As always, there might be a snippet of information here or a comment from someone that testified there, and they're the type of foundation, the cornerstones that then we have to go ahead, take, do further exploration and further investigation of, and hopefully that will, of course, lead us to the truth in the JFK assassination once and for all. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I look forward to being with you a lot this 2025.